All right, well, we're getting started a few minutes late, but I think that this is an event of great interest, and I want to get right into it. My name is Michael Penn. I am the moderator for this event today, and we have a very timely and important event, I think. Right now, there's probably nothing going on in the world quite so important and quite so engrossing of worldwide attention as the situation in Egypt. And so we have a very good opportunity here to learn from Egyptians in Japan what they think about the situation and what they think about the prospects for the future. We're going to have a presentation by only one member to begin. That is Mr. Ahmed Al-Kholi. And after his brief presentation, I would like to get straight into questions and answers to address the things that you are concerned about and to let these gentlemen answer the concerns that you have and the questions you have. All right, well, let's get right into it then. Mr. Ahmed Al-Kholi, please make your initial presentation.
Good afternoon. Initially, I would like to apologize on behalf of Mr. Momin Abdallah that was supposed to attend today, but he had some emergency that his daughter went to hospital and he had to go with her, so apologies for that. And secondly, I would like to mention first that we are here just representing basically the Egyptian young people, the Egyptian middle class, the Egyptian upper class, the Egyptian poor class. We're not representing any political party, as we are not part of any. And we're just representing ourselves and what we say. Basically, we are here to deliver to you the feelings that we think we share with the Egyptian people back home. We're here also to present different opinions, different points of view, even from the people and from the government and from different parties, in order for you to understand what is going on at the moment in Egypt. I've actually prepared a little statement that I would like to read it. It's basically, we are here following the popular protest movement growing in our beloved Egypt, which reflects the genuine demands for fundamental freedom, democracy, and respect for human rights. We support the legitimacy of the demands for the eradication of poverty, unemployment, corruption, illiteracy, bribery, and nepotism. We call for free and fair parliamentary elections reflecting the aspirations and hopes of the Egyptian people towards a better future. The demands of the revolutionists, if we can call them youth, in Egypt are ranging from, we can say first, the resignation of President Mubarak, as they think the whole regime basically has grown up to a state where it doesn't reflect their dreams. They cannot satisfy their needs, their basic needs, or their need for having share in the political life in Egypt. So they demand the resignation of the President Mubarak, who, as they think, lost the popular legitimacy and constitutional shelter. Declaration of removing of and dissolving the current People Assembly that people think it was not elected in a proper way, and there was a lot of fraud. Secondly, abolition of the state emergency law that has been imposed for at least 30 years. Thirdly, forming a government of national unity and transition to conduct the country affairs. And fourth, holding free and fair parliamentary elections under full judicial supervision in accordance with the will of the people. Fifth, amendment of the state constitution by the elected parliament should make constitutional amendments for supervising the presidential elections and other aspects of life. And sixth, the formation of National Commission addressing the facts of use of violence and killing against the demonstrators that happened recently, which caused hundreds of deaths and thousands wounded and arrested. Seventh, support for the independence of the judiciary and universities in Egypt. We ask, as people ask in Egypt, all governments and people of the free world to support the legitimate demands of the Egyptian people and the emphasis on the freedom of peaceful assembly and the right of people to choose their representatives. Which basically we think the development that happened in Egypt was at the moment was a result of 60 years of ruling after the first military revolution we had in 1952. Egypt has a very long history of basically parliamentary life and democratic life. We've had parliament for over 150 years, so the Egyptian people are very rooted in democracy. Nevertheless, they lost a lot of these values since 1952. The Egyptian people have been demanding for a long time to get it back. They've been demanding for a long time to get back their freedom. Freedom in a way that they can express themselves, they can choose their leaders, whether in the parliament, whether on the presidential level, or whether on even in their universities. Everything in our country at the moment is running by appointment. Most of the executives and the governors, they are all appointed by the head of the state, and that means people don't feel that they have the right to choose their leaders. They don't have the feeling that there is a path in front of them that if they work hard as being a young people, they can reach to a certain target in their life. That everything that they feel the road is blocked basically by people who have been in power for a long time, and I'm talking about all levels in the country. We have ministers who've been ministers over 20 years or over 25 years. We have ministers who even act as ministers and as a parliament member and as a head of like 3-4 different companies. So in a country which suffers from unemployment, so you can imagine that if one person has 5 jobs and other people don't have no job at all. On the other hand, there is from the government side, the government has been claiming in the last 30 years that Egyptian people are not ready for freedom. They're not ready to have a complete democratic process. They think the people need to take it step by step. But in the recent years, we've been having not just political problems, but also economic problems. Problems such as crisis in food, crisis in supplies and gas, and in the roads. Egypt is #1 in road accidents. We've been having actually average economic growth and GDP growth of it ranges from 4 to 7% in the last 8 years. But most of that growth has been going to the rich segment in the society. So there is no equilibrium of in the dividing the wealth among the Egyptian community, where the middle class of Egypt, which used to be in the 50s and 60s, leading the country development and actually exporting professionals to different countries all over the world. This middle class has been diminishing. Egypt that used to have a very strong education system now is suffering from diminishing quality of the education system. The education should be free, but now people have to pay a lot of money for private lessons because the quality of the universities and the schools are not as it used to be, is much lower. So we have education problems. We've had in the last 7 years some kind of alliance between power and business leaders. We have a lot of ministers who owns like some of the biggest companies in Egypt in different sectors such as tourism and transportation and steel industry and etc. And basically having the power of money and the power of politician and also legislation, combination of that created very strong centers that basically control everything in the country, and the people are not getting any of this wealth. It's just very centralized. So that's all contributed to the with the internet booming in Egypt, and the young people are using internet, and they're interacting with different youth all over the world, and they're talking to them about their problems. They've been seeing the developments in Eastern Europe. They've been seeing developments in other countries getting their freedom and getting democratic governments and changing to a better place. the Egyptian youth have been hoping that one day they will be also part of their country. They've been hoping that one day, if he's 20 or 30 or 40, they can still be leaders in the government or leaders in big corporations, not just because of their age, but just because of their ability, if they can perform well. So all these dreams and hopes drove these people to go out in the streets, call for freedom, call for equilibrium and rights, and call for end of corruption. And this is basically what the people demands are. This movement has, as we think, it has not been led by any political party or any opposition group. It's been led by the young people, and they were faster than everybody else, and everybody actually joined them later. And I think even Western countries, or in Europe or the U.S. Or even here in Japan, that everybody never thought that this will go that far. A lot of people thought it's going to be 1 or 2 days just protest, but nobody thought that people would be very persistent in order to get asked for their rights. A lot of people lost their lives, now more than 300. A lot of people are wounded, and we don't know when it's going to end, but we hope that this is going to lead to a good exit for Egypt. Thank you.
Okay. All of the gentlemen are going to speak today, but they're going to speak basically during the question and answer section, because we do want to address your questions. Let me mention, by the way, that Mr. Ahmed Al-Kholi is a business executive here in Japan, and on the other side of him is Mr. Abdel Rahman, who is affiliated with the Islamic Center Japan. And on the other side of him is Mr. Hisham Ramadan, who is affiliated with Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. He's an engineer. And on the far end over there is Mr. Reda Kenawy, who has his own company, Air One Travel. All right, well, first I'd like to open up the questions